The library is open and I can't wait to spy on some book lives. My fellow nosies, let's see how messy this one gets. Mine is by B-Love and it follows Presley Smith and Rashid. This one is a really short read actually. You could definitely read this in a couple hours. We see Presley at probably her worst when it comes to relationships, and she believes that she needs to make herself an easy person to love. She says that all she wants is a man that's hers. She has a relationship with this guy and it ends up ending like right before her sister's wedding. They have some issues in their relationship. They try to make it work in various different ways, which we get to see on the page. And you can just really tell that Presley's given up on love. Her sister tries to set her up with people. Yeah, you can just really tell that she's given up. She just doesn't think it's going to happen for her. And that is why I believe that she's turning down other opportunities to find love. I would say that once Presley and Rashid actually meet, it's pretty much an insta-love situation. It doesn't happen immediately, but it pretty much does happen pretty straight away. This one is definitely insta-love. As soon as Rashid meets her, he knows that she's the one for him and that's what he's going for. That's what he's going to do. I would say that you should go into this one knowing that it's a short read, because I did not pay attention when I was getting it and I got a digital copy of this book. And I had also thrown on my little text-to-speech, so I really wasn't paying attention to like the length of the book. So I went in thinking that it was going to be longer than it was. Go in knowing that it's a short read, and then your expectations will be easier to be met, because at first I was like, oh, this is going a little bit fast, and then I realized it's a shorter book, and so everything made sense. I would say that the negatives of this one is that it does seem like it jumps a little bit, like probably because it's a fast-paced insta-love type of story. It kind of feels like some of the story jumps a little bit. I would say in particular, like when you go from what is really like the end to the epilogue, it felt like it was, I don't know how to explain it, but just a little slight bit disjointed. I feel like I didn't get to know Rashid as much as I would have liked. You get to know him in terms of how he acts in a relationship. Like, he is a really nice book boyfriend, but I think that it would be nice to know a little bit more about him. Yes, we did find out like his job and how he makes his money, but it would have been nice to maybe see him before he meets Presley. It would have been nice to also meet him and see how he was operating in his own life and how this relationship helped him grow, or it didn't even need to really make him grow, just see how he was in his own element, just to learn more about him as a character. It doesn't even have to involve a relationship, because it kind of felt like Presley was the one that needed to have character growth, and then Rashid just came along making it more about her instead of about them, if that makes sense. So I think it would have been a nice touch to just add a little bit of information about him, not just an info dump, but actually seeing him in his own element and just seeing his life. That would have been a nice touch. But that is really all I could say for the negatives of this book. I'd say the positives are, it's really sweet. It kind of gives me early 2000s romance vibes, because it has a little, you know, when you watch one of those early 2000 movies, it's a little bit cliche, but you don't care because it's sweet and like, who cares? You know, it gives that kind of vibe. Like, you don't really care about that because it's so cute, it's so sweet. You've got kissing in the rain, you know, that kind of cutesy vibe. It was very, very nice when it came to stuff like that. I also appreciated seeing Presley's earlier relationship in the book with Houston, who he's not painted as like a bad person or a bad guy. It's definitely like, it's just a mismatch, and he does have things that he needs to work on. She also had things that she needed to work on too. It's like anyone, you know, people are so different and everyone has to work on aspects of themselves in order to make a relationship work. The things that Presley was doing in that relationship to make it work were toxic. It was only hurting her. And with Houston, he lacked a lot of maturity in the relationship and being able to make connections, and he had the wrong priorities in his life. And you can tell that if he continues to go the way that he's going, he's going to be really unhappy in any relationship that he's in. The toxic elements in his life, which includes his mom, are going to destroy his happiness, and he's going to be a really unhappy person. I wouldn't actually mind reading maybe another similar short book on Houston and him having some growth, because I really think that he's not a hopeless character. I really did like that. Also, what I liked was seeing the things that Presley was doing in the relationship to make it work, because you can tell that a lot of people do these types of things in their real relationships and they feel like they're overreacting or they're making too much of a big deal out of something that is small, and so they give people extra chances that they probably shouldn't have given them, or they think, oh, the beginning of the relationship was so good, and because they're really dealing with the nostalgia of the beginning of the relationship, they allow it to go on way longer than it needs to go on for, because they believe that they can recapture that early magic. So I liked seeing her doing things that so many women do in real relationships and watching it fail, and being able to see it from like the outside looking in might be able to help people see signs and red flags that they can just avoid. So that was really cool. I liked both characters. So I would say that this book, it's a nice, short, sweet book. It's a nice 4. Now we're done. On to the next.